20 horses. 20. That's where you start. Is the Derby random? Not entirely, but it's very difficult to handicap because so much can happen. As far as post positions, Edzo obviously likes Dornock, but Dornock got the one. The one is tough being on the rail. The last time we saw a one horse win was 1986. Okay, so there's a reason for that. So that would be a trend that you want to take a look at. Since 2013, there have been 4 post positions that have won a couple of times. That's the 5, the 7, the 8, and the 10. Those are all pretty good sweet spots. So you don't want to be on the far outside. You don't want to be on the rail. I think everything else is fine. And when Fierceness drew the 17, some people are like, but he's so good, it probably doesn't matter. And now, by the way, he's 16 due to a scratch. So he's already moved inside a little bit. And people, 17's never won. 17's never won. But yeah, so some of that is overstated a little bit. As long as you're not on the rail, as long as you're not on the far outside, I think you should be fine. So those are a couple of trends to take a look at. But yeah, there's a lot of luck involved. 150th Kentucky Derby. Also, you have to look at the preps races. There's a reason when you hear experts like Eddie O, or you turn on some of the coverage on Saturday on NBC, you're going to see the same races mentioned again and again. The predictability, another angle why it's so tough, not only because there's 20 horses, the length of the race. These horses have never gone this long, but you're going to hear the Florida Derby thrown out there, the Tampa Derby, but not as much. But yeah, the Arkansas Derby. And then there are 2 Japanese horses, and those are always tricky because they're not going in the same races a lot of the time. And, they get this hype. And guess what? The 2 Japanese horses got some pretty good post positions. They're right there in the middle of the track. Forever Young is going to be the popular one because Forever Young has never lost. Forever Young's won every race that they've been in. So that number was 10-1 on the morning line. It wouldn't surprise me if that's a shorter number.
Love it. So which ones are you betting, or you're not? You haven't decided yet.
There's a few I'm taking a look at. I agree with what Eddie O said, trying to beat Fierceness. Yes, Fierceness has been awesome. There's a reason Fierceness is the favorite, but like everything I just went over, it's a Kentucky Derby. There's 20 of them. The last favorite to win was 2018 in Justify. So there's money to be made in the Derby. No matter what the question was, he ended up talking about Catching Freedom, right? Or was I imagining that? No matter what the question was. So that is certainly one that stands out to me. How could it not? Sierra Leone, the 2-horse, Chad Brown, a closer, one of the top as far as speed figures, if you're into those numbers. So you're going to want to take a look at Sierra Leone, 3-1 on the morning line. The 6-horse Just Steel, better number. Great trainer, Dwayne Lucas there. Second in the Arkansas Derby, another one of those top preps races. There's a horse to take a look at. I mentioned Forever Young. I'll take a look there. And the UAE Derby that Forever Young just recently won, that's 1 3/16. So that's comparable. That's kind of one of those preps races that you would want to take a look at. I'm hearing a lot of people talk about Anna Marie. Anna Marie, 20-1 on the morning line, second in the Louisiana Derby. Maybe
has a
if
win
you put
at
Anna
Churchill
Marie
too, as a
really,
2-year-old.
yeah.
Yep.
If you add a 15 or a 20-1 in your trifecta, your exactas, that's how you can get a really nice payday.
If I could, cross-dangle, some verbiage here, a hockey term is stick handling. Well, I think that Johnny Velasquez, who's won the Derby a couple of times, will be able to maneuver and stick handle his way out from that post position, number 16. I don't think it's really – I'll say this. I don't think that Fierceness will get beat. because he ends up breaking out on the outside. I don't believe it's, I think it's one of the least of his worries, so to speak. Now, if he happens to go really fast and he's 4 or 5 wide on the first turn, I mean, obviously that would end up being, because look, this race is 1.25 miles. The majority of these horses will never run this far again. So a lot of things can happen, but I think that the experience of Johnny Velasquez, the jockey on 17, Fierceness, will be able to maneuver and get a good trip and make his trip. Now, whether or not he's good enough, we'll have to see the last so-called 1/4 mile of the Run for the Roses on Saturday. I mean, let's put the 4, Catching Freedom. Let's put the 4 on top, and then let's use, let's use the 2, Sierra Leone. Let's use, let's use the 6, Just Steel, and the 3, Mystic Dan second, and then let's use Fierceness in third. So use 3 horses second, use Fierceness third. So 2 with those 3 horses, number 4 with those 3 horses I gave, and then Fierceness finishing in third. So a $1 wager there only cost you $3. So if any of those ones finish second, you got a chance of $3 investment probably to turn probably anywhere north of $200 for sure for a $3 investment.
Let's go to the always balanced, always fair and balanced Joe Ostrowski when it comes to talking about New York sports teams.
Yeah, they call me Fox News. Yeah, fair and balanced. Let's go with the Knicks and the Sixers here. I'm shocked that you guys are all over the Knicks. It's just shocking. Look, this is where we're supposed to be, right? So you had that crazy Game 2 finish where you could have made a case that it could have gone Philly's way. And then obviously the last game probably should have gone the Knicks' way. And now we're sitting here at 3-2 going to Philly. I mean, it's been so great. You guys don't want a Game 7?
Yeah.
I want a Game 7.
I want a Game 7.
Chris does not.
I'm good.
Does not
I'm
want a
good.
Game
I got
7.
the series spread. I need to cash that.
He wants his thing to own. I understand. That's funny that Aaron brought up about Embiid. Maxey going to match that? Probably not, but he doesn't have to match it if we're going to bet his prop. It's about, 25.5, 26.5 for the points. Maxey has actually been better on the road. Isn't that weird? Like in this series, when they go to the Garden, that's when he's been balling out. I'm kind of thinking this is the Embiid game, at least points wise. And, we've been critical of Embiid because he's not 100% clearly. However, when you look at his numbers in this series, he's averaging 32 points per game. He's averaging 10 rebounds per game. Like the numbers are there. He's going to be on the court as much as he possibly can be. I'm going to go over 30.5 points for Embiid. He gets the calls there, gets the charity stripe a million times.
Yeah.
I can see it. Even if he's not 100%, I think he's going over 30.5.
If Kirk Cousins is as good as they hope he is the next couple of years, they're not going to have a top 10 pick again for a while, hopefully. Best case scenario. So if you're going to have a top 10 pick and you want to take an elite quarterback, you got to do it now. But there's just such a small window where this works out perfectly, because if Kirk Cousins signing works so well and he's with us for 4 to 5 years, then, I mean, he kind of did waste an 8 overall pick on Penix, because unless he's, going to be fantastic when he steps in at 29 years old, or the other situation, if Kirk doesn't work out, then you look stupid because you paid a ton of money to an old injured quarterback. So you're going to look stupid, one of two sides. Either eventually you're going to look stupid for wasting a pick, or eventually you're going to look stupid for paying an old injured quarterback a ton of money. So I think they're going to look stupid regardless. Unless Kirk plays 2 years, plays fantastic, we go on a deep run, and then he decides to retire after 2 years, and then Penix comes in and he looks fantastic, which is just such a low probability of all those things happening. So yeah, I think they're going to look stupid regardless. It just depends on, which side are they going to look stupid? Are they going to look stupid about signing Kirk, or look stupid about drafting Penix? I don't know. They're going to look stupid regardless.
If they win, nobody will care. You won't care, will you?
If they win a Super Bowl, no. Anything could happen, and I wouldn't care.
Super Bowl. Wow. Well, that's where I was going to go. Like, let's talk big picture with the Falcons. We're accepting what's happened. They did focus on defense later in the draft. They've got a lot of depth. They're the favorites to win the division. Like, what do you think the ceiling is? How do you rate the Falcons now?
I think the ceiling is Super Bowl. Am I crazy for saying that? They're not the best team in the NFC. The 49ers are still obviously the best team. They're top 4, though. I mean, if you get to the playoffs, if you win the NFC South, you're hosting at least one playoff game. At minimum, I expect them to win the division and probably win that first playoff game. And then the ceiling is a Super Bowl. Why not? Why can't Kirk Cousins be to us what Matt Stafford was to the Rams? We are probably still a couple of pieces away from me actually thinking that there's true Super Bowl contenders. Another defensive back. We still need an edge rusher. Probably another weapon at wideout. But I mean, we have offensive talent. The defense was good, not great, but good last year. We'll see what Raheem Morris does as head coach, but I think the ceiling is Super Bowl. Am I crazy for saying that? Is it within the realm of possibility the Falcons win the Super Bowl next year?
I mean, it's also within the realm of possibility that a meteor could strike Earth and wipe us all out. So anything's possible, Ian. But what I love is, despite being beaten down for a week like this,
he's Super Bowl.
He's
Super
positive.
Bowl.
That's what I love. That's why we love you.